A small act of kindness can change a life. But what if it costs you your job first? Today's story is about Lisa, a young waitress at a cozy diner in Savannah, Georgia. She wasn't looking for recognition or reward. She wasn't trying to make a statement. All she did was listen to her heart. But that simple choice, to show kindness to a man everyone else had ignored, ended up turning her entire life upside down, and ultimately, into something far more meaningful than she could have imagined. This story will take you from a bustling breakfast shift to a quiet sidewalk where a single plate of food sparked a chain reaction. It's a reminder that the moments that test our compassion the most often lead to the most powerful outcomes. You'll see how one decision, made with love and without hesitation, rippled through an entire community and changed not just one life, but many. Before we dive into Lisa's journey, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Justice Reloaded HD if you believe in second chances, in kindness without conditions, and in stories that lift the human spirit. Then you're in the right place. At Justice Reloaded HD, we share true, heartwarming tales that restore faith in humanity and remind us that even the smallest gestures can light the darkest paths. Now settle in, and let's begin with a morning that changed everything. The sun had barely climbed above the rooftops of Savannah when Miller's Diner sprang to life. The comforting aroma of sizzling bacon and fresh biscuits filled the air, mixing with the clatter of plates and the steady hum of conversation. Waitresses called out coffee orders while the cook, hidden behind a swinging door, barked back with a raspy voice that somehow blended into the morning rhythm. It was loud, it was busy, and for the regulars, it was home. Lisa weaved through the maze of booths and tables with practiced ease, her ponytail swaying as she balanced a full tray on one hand and refilled a mug with the other. She greeted every customer with the same warm smile, whether it was the grumpy Mr. Fuller in the corner, who never said much but always asked for his coffee black, or the newlyweds who sat near the window every Friday morning, still arguing sweetly over whether to split the pancakes or go for their own plates. She had a way of noticing the little things. The way a child's legs dangled too far from the booth seat. The slight tremble in an old woman's hands as she tried to butter her toast. Lisa didn't just take orders, she paid attention. Though the diner bustled like clockwork, Lisa felt something different in the air that morning. She couldn't quite place it. Maybe it was the overcast sky outside, or maybe it was the way her gaze kept drifting toward the window. Something, or someone, was pulling at her heart. And soon she'd find out why. Outside the diner's fogged-up windows, across the street and half-shielded by a lamppost, sat a man who looked like time had forgotten him. His beard was overgrown, his jacket threadbare and heavy with the dust of many nights on the ground. Yet even from a distance, Lisa noticed his eyes. They weren't blank or lifeless. They followed every plate of food that passed through the front door like it was a dream he couldn't touch. Lisa paused mid-step, her tray balanced with half-finished orders. Something in her chest tightened. She glanced around. The boss was in the back, customers were chatting, and no one seemed to notice the man outside. No one except her. Without saying a word, she set the tray down, stepped behind the counter, and quietly assembled a plate. Scrambled eggs, crispy bacon, a fluffy biscuit still steaming from the oven. She poured hot coffee into a sturdy paper cup and wrapped it tight to keep the warmth in. Then, with a glance over her shoulder, she slipped out the front door. "Excuse me, sir," Lisa said gently as she approached. The man flinched, startled. I don't want any trouble," he muttered, his voice rough. "You're not in trouble," she said with a kind smile. "You just look hungry." He hesitated. "I don't have any money." "You don't need any," Lisa replied, handing him the plate. His hands trembled as he took it. Nobody's done something like this in a long time. "What's your name?" she asked, sitting beside him. "Raymond," he whispered. "I used to be someone. I was in the army. Came back with nightmares, lost my job, lost everything." Lisa nodded softly. "You're still someone, Raymond. And you're not invisible to me." Lisa barely had time to return inside before her name echoed through the diner like a crack of thunder. "Lisa!" My office. Now. The voice belonged to Chandler, the owner of Miller's Diner, a man who ran the place with more rules than warmth. He stood at the kitchen doorway, face flushed with anger, jaw tight. Lisa followed him into the cramped office, heart pounding but posture steady. She had a feeling this wasn't going to be a gentle talk. "What do you think you're doing?" he snapped, pointing at the security monitor still showing a paused image of Lisa handing Raymond the plate outside. "He was hungry," she replied, her voice calm but firm. "I couldn't just pretend I didn't see him." "You gave away food. That's stealing, Lisa. Do you know how this looks to paying customers?" She shook her head, incredulous. "It looks like kindness." "No, it looks like weakness," Chandler shot back. "We're not a soup kitchen. You made this place look bad, soft. People don't come here to be reminded of the streets." Lisa's hands clenched at her sides. "He served our country," she said quietly. "He's not just some guy on the sidewalk. He's a veteran. And I couldn't let him go hungry." Chandler's voice turned cold. "That's not your call. You're fired." The word hung in the air like a slap. For a second, Lisa didn't move. Then slowly, she untied her apron, folded it in half, and placed it on the counter with quiet dignity. "If kindness costs me my job," she said, her voice trembling, "then maybe I was working in the wrong place." With tears brimming but her head held high, she walked out of Miller's Diner, not broken, but braver than she'd ever been. Lisa sat on the bench outside the diner, her apron still folded in her lap, eyes staring blankly at the cracked sidewalk. The morning air, once filled with the scent of coffee and bacon, now felt colder, heavier. She'd done what she believed was right, but now she was unemployed, humiliated, and unsure what came next. Then, the quiet hum of an approaching engine caught her attention. A sleek black SUV rolled to a stop in front of the diner, polished and out of place against the worn bricks and flickering neon sign. The driver's door opened, and a tall man in a sharp navy suit stepped out. His presence was calm, but commanding, like someone who was used to walking into rooms and being heard. "Excuse me," he said gently as he approached. "Are you Lisa?" She blinked, surprised. "Yes, I am." He offered a warm smile and extended his hand. "I'm Thomas Bell. I run an organization called Second Chance for Heroes. We support veterans transitioning out of homelessness." Lisa stood slowly, confusion knitting her brow. "I'm sorry, how do you know who I am?" "I saw you this morning, well, not in person, but through a video. Someone inside the diner filmed what happened. They posted it online an hour ago. It's already being shared like wildfire." Her eyes widened. "You saw that?" He nodded. "And I knew I had to find you. What you did for that man, for Raymond, it mattered. You showed compassion when no one else would. And I think our organization could really use someone like you." For the first time that morning, Lisa felt something shift inside her, a flicker of hope. Lisa could hardly believe what she was hearing. One moment, she was being fired for doing what felt right. The next, a stranger was offering her a new beginning. Thomas explained that Second Chance for Heroes wasn't just any organization. It was founded by veterans for veterans, a mission close to his heart. "We need people who understand what it means to care," he told her. "People who act, even when it's hard. That's what you did." He offered her a paid position with full training. Lisa would work directly with formerly homeless veterans, helping them access housing, job support, and mental health resources. It was meaningful work, the kind that changed lives. And it came with a team that believed in her from day one. She accepted the offer with tears in her eyes. But the story didn't end there. The video of Lisa giving food to Raymond and being fired had gone viral. By that evening, local news stations were replaying the clip, and headlines began to appear: "Waitress fired for feeding veteran, community rallies behind her." Thousands of people flooded social media, praising her courage and questioning how compassion had become a punishable offense. Messages of support poured in from all over the country. Donations to homeless shelters spiked. Volunteers signed up in record numbers. Some restaurants even began offering free meals to veterans and the homeless in Lisa's honor. She had acted from the heart, expecting nothing in return, but kindness has a way of coming full circle. And now, her small act was sparking something much bigger. Kim, handing out advice along with inventory sheets. And Lisa? She had become something far greater than a waitress. Her quiet act of kindness had bloomed into a movement. As the new program director for Second Chance for Heroes, she oversaw dozens of staff and helped coordinate employment services for hundreds of veterans across the state. Her story, once a viral moment, had evolved into something lasting. She traveled to schools, spoke at city halls, and led the National Kindness First initiative, encouraging others to act with empathy even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs something. But one morning, she found herself back at Miller's Diner. It had a new coat of paint now, a new owner. And right above the door hung a small wooden sign carved with simple words. "We serve with heart." Lisa smiled. What had started with a plate of food on a cold morning had changed not only her life, but the lives of countless others. Because sometimes, the smallest act given freely can echo far beyond what we see. And in the end, kindness always finds its way home. Life often tests us in quiet, unexpected moments, not with grand choices, but with small ones that reveal our true character. Lisa didn't set out to be a hero. She simply chose kindness when it would have been easier to look away. And that choice, though it cost her in the moment, opened a door to a life filled with purpose and compassion. For those of us who've lived long enough, we know that the world doesn't always reward goodness right away. But as this story reminds us, kindness has a way of circling back. It touches lives we may never fully see, and sometimes, like in Lisa's case, it builds something far greater than we imagined. Whether we're helping a neighbor, offering a warm meal, or simply choosing patience over judgment, every small act matters. Especially in a world that moves too fast and forgets too easily, kindness slows things down and brings us back to what truly matters: people, dignity, and heart. So if you ever wonder whether your small act of kindness makes a difference, it does. It always does. Sometimes, it takes losing everything to find your true calling. Lisa didn't just serve breakfast that day, she served hope. And Raymond? He didn't just receive food, he found his way back to life, dignity, and purpose. Their story is a reminder that compassion isn't weakness, it's courage. The courage to see someone when others look away. The courage to give, even when no one is watching. And sometimes the smallest act, a plate of food, a warm smile, can light the way for someone lost in the dark. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button, leave us a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to Justice Reloaded HD. We share true stories like this every week, stories that lift the heart, honor everyday heroes, and restore faith in what truly matters. Let's continue to build a community rooted in kindness, one story, and one view at a time. Thank you for watching, and for believing in the good we can do together.